you may have heard, there was a concert at Herman's last night. And Glenn and I had a chance to go. Attila was here last month, and I knew it was happening, and as soon as he announced that they were doing some John McLaughlin, I gasped, and I'm like, I'm in. I mean, I was in anyway, but it's like, I'm so in, because to hear some Indian fusion jazz was like a dream for me. And there was some of that last night. There was some Chick Corea. There was some Herbie Hancock. And there was this incredible group of 6 musicians, our VTC band leader, Kelby McNair included, who were so tuned into one another, who were so interconnected. It was like this one organism that was just expressing this incredible artistry and creativity all night long. I am still feeling the resonance, the vibration, everything from yesterday evening. It is going to be with me for a long time, because it also wasn't just about the music that was happening on stage, even though it was phenomenal. It was also about community. It was about the connection of everyone there, being there together to see this incredible show, to experience this incredible show, but to also support this venue that, as Mary mentioned, as Mariana talked about too, as I talked about at Elevate and in the newsletter, just like a week and a half ago, announced that they were closing down at the end of April. And I texted some of my jazz musician friends, some who didn't respond. But I texted someone to go, is this it? Like, can anything be done? And then I wrote Herman's, and I was probably one of, hundreds, if not, over 1,000 people who wrote Herman's to say, is it possible to pull it out of a hat? Like happened 2 years ago. And within days, this campaign to save Herman's, came up, and they had this $450,000 goal. And in just over 24 hours, it was reached, and now the pledges are being confirmed. And when I looked this morning, it was around $343,000 worth of pledges have been confirmed. And so I have made my pledge, and I will talk to this later as well. I'm going to invite people to do so too. But the thing I want to get back to is the experience of connection, the experience of artistry, the experience, like just watching the musicians be this one thing, and then the gift, receiving it, and just being there in the atmosphere of all of this amazing artistry that was happening. And so for me, Herman's, it's not just a live venue. It is this living embodiment, this living demonstration of connection, embodiment, and community. And so to me, it was such a profound experience to be there last night, to watch how, without any words, sometimes with eyes closed, Kelby would be communicating with the other drummer who was there, Miguelito, and they would just be, playing off each other. Attila's across the stage, Kelby's over there. They're like playing off each other. Everyone knows when it's their turn to go and for how long. I know there's some counting involved, but you could just see the way their bodies were moving, the way the eyes were closed, like they were just being source. They were being God. They were just creativity in action, consciousness in motion, artistry just happening, and we got to be there to receive it, which I can only imagine makes it that much more special for you guys, because if you're playing to an empty room, then there's no one there to receive it, right? There's no one there to participate and engage with you. The audience is just as much of a player and part of it, as are the musicians. And all of this correlates so beautifully with our spiritual evolution, our personal spiritual growth, right? It is about connection, it is about embodiment, and it is about community. And so where connection comes in, it's not just connecting to each other and to nature and to, things outside of us. It's to really turning within. And it's not even connection, really. It is alignment, because we're never separate. We're never separate from God. We're never separate from Source. We're never separate from each other, even though I'm in this body, Winnie's in that body, that camera stand is that thing, and this room is this room, and the words are the words. But it's all Source expressing. It's all love unleashing itself in these gazillions of unique and original ways. And when we get to really, really connect, when we get to experience that connection that is present with someone else, like these musicians last night and like the community that was there to so wholeheartedly receive and support, wow, it is magic. It is magic that continues beyond the experience itself, if we let it. And oh my gosh, I'm letting it, because it feels so good. And it is also about embodiment. And this was the thing that I experienced. Like even Glenn and I were talking about Kelby. We see him here every single week, twice a week, right? But I have never seen Kelby as in the zone as he was last night. And it was so incredible to see. Mary's nodding her head. It was so phenomenal to be in that presence, as it was happening. And Attila, same thing. And then all the guys, same thing. And Peter, our bass player on Wednesdays, excuse me, whom I just love watching on Wednesdays. When he starts smiling and he's just in the groove and everything, even more so last night. So it's just magical to be, in that kind of divine intertwinglement, as I like to say, that is always, always alive and active. And the community, right? Like I just said, them playing to an empty room, totally different experience. Us watching online, which I know there are some people watching online, different experience from being in the room, and yet we're trying to cultivate that community because we know not everybody can be here every single time in person, right? So we want to make that available. But the whole point of this, like with our spiritual evolution, is that it's not something that just happens, okay? Those guys that were playing last night, they just didn't appear on the stage, do their thing, and that was it. I heard that they had a 5-hour rehearsal on Thursday. 5 hours, these accomplished musicians playing this incredible, some of it so intelligent, it was crazy, and so beautifully artistic at the same time. And just, again, one organism. It was so wild. And so that takes practice. Same with our spiritual evolution, our journey, our transformation, our growth. It could just happen, but chances are, because of the stories we tell, because of the things we believe, because of ancestral collective consciousness, all that stuff, it takes time and it takes practice. I've talked about going to the gym before. You don't go once, work out for 2 hours, and you're good for your life. You do it on a regular basis. You don't stop flossing your teeth because you don't have any cavities. You do it and you brush your teeth so that you continue to have a nice, clean, fresh, healthy mouth. So the embodiment part is why we practice. The embodiment is what we want. This is our purpose here at VTC. To truly experience the love we are, to show up as the love we are. And love, I'm not talking relational love. I'm not talking, how we feel about someone necessarily. I am talking about the creative energy and intelligence that is the very essence, inception, and beingness of everyone and everything. I'm talking about that power. That's why we come together, to show up as more of that. And each of us has these unique, amazing talents and gifts that only we can give to the world, and they show up differently at different times in our lives. And if we open up to really tuning in and aligning, and we practice through all the different ways that you can practice. There's meditation, there's prayer, there's reading, there's class, there's being out in nature, there's coming and being in community. So many different ways. That's just a little sprinkling. But whatever it is that speaks to you, to open up your heart, to expand your mind, to nourish your soul, to allow you to more fully interconnect with the community that you are a part of, keep doing that. Because practice is not just a noun, it's a verb, okay? And so the more we practice, the more we embody. And then the more we embody, the more connected we are to each other, to ourselves, to our world. So the title of my talk today is Love Practiced, Community Lived. Community doesn't just happen. It is cultivated, it is practiced, it is lived and loved into being together. Our affirmation, we nurture relationships and curate experiences to cultivate wholeness. That is what we're doing so that we can more fully express as the love we are, as the beauty we are, as we can offer the gifts that are ours to give in whatever ways are ours to give them more readily. Okay? So whether it is spiritual evolution and personal growth we're talking about, whether it is coming together in community to save a beloved venue that provides such richness to the entire city, and more, I would say, it is really important for us to anchor ourselves in connection and coming together, being together, doing stuff, practicing, engaging, participating together. And it is really important for us to fully embody whatever it is that we are leaning into, whether it is our spirituality, whether it is an experience that we are participating in, whether it's a conversation we're having with someone. Because the more that we do that, the more we get to remind each other, the more we get to reflect who and what we are with each other, and the more we get to amplify the love that everyone and everything is at its core, at its epicenter of being, the more we get to amplify that for our world. So my question is, it's not so much about, is this community for me? It's more like, how am I showing up in community to nurture relationships and curate experiences to keep celebrating and more fully embodying the love we truly are? Thank you, and so it is.